Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Livin Athletics. This is your host, Livin Athletics. And I know I've been talking about football a lot, but I want you guys to know that this is just not a football show, a football podcast, and we're going to change it up a little bit today. And hopefully we could change it up a lot more coming in the future. With me today, I have my fellow Rice student athlete, Diae El Jardi, that plays tennis for the Rice Owl. Welcome to the show, Diae.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. I want to just get right into this. Like, no way, I'm not beating around the bush. I'm getting right into the meat and potatoes of things right now. So you were born in Morocco, Casablanca, Morocco, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And
I'll correct you on that. I was born in Meknes in Morocco, which is like a city kind of 3 hours away from Casablanca, but I did end up growing up in Casablanca.
Okay. Only reason I know Casablanca because I remember there was a movie way back when that's called Casablanca.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Fun fact, a lot of people would come up to me and they would ask me, "Oh, you're from Casablanca. Have you watched the movie?" And I'll always be like, "No, actually, I haven't." So,
no, I didn't.
I haven't.
Okay, all right. So it was like black and white. So I didn't really. I watched it. I had to watch it because of school. I'm not really a big fan of it anyway. But it's a cool thing. Like you live there and the movie's about there, so that's fun. Yeah. So I want to just talk about like how did you get into tennis?
So my dad was actually the one who put me into tennis. I remember when I was about 4 or 5, he would take me with him to the tennis courts because he used to play a little bit. And I would just be sitting on the chair umpire, just watching him play and watching the ball goes back and forth. And then by the age of 6 or 7, I was like, "Oh, let me try this. I think I like it." And then that's where it started.
That's cool. So
yeah, basically.
Is tennis kind of popular back home?
It is becoming popular. We used to have, there are like 3 legends that we have back home that like were really good at tennis in the past, but it kind of went down a little bit, but then it's starting to become more popular with time and more kids are showing up, more motivation towards the sport. And the federation is helping a lot with it too by taking them to they took me to multiple tournaments and they helped me like get in the level that I am today, obviously with my other coaches and my parents, but they also help all of these young kids just get out there and, have the opportunity to play the sport that they love.
Yeah, so we're going to get back. You mentioned about you playing in different tournaments and stuff. We're going to get to that. But I want to talk about, like you said, your dad helped kind of introduce you to the sport. Now, did your dad play professional? Did he play in college? Did he just play for fun?
Yeah, my dad did not play in college. He did not play professional. He's the type of dad that would play every sport. Like he would wake up a day like, "Oh, let me try volleyball or let me try basketball." So my dad kind of played different sports, but he did really stuck with tennis. And he loved the idea of his kid hopefully like becoming a champion or something. And so he was the one who taught me how to play tennis actually till I was about 11. He was my coach basically till I was 11 or 12. And then I grew up in this city and we had to move in because there was not a lot of resources over there and a lot of coaches that would take me. And my dad obviously could only play for so long. So we had to move. And obviously we moved to Casablanca and that's like one of the main cities that has like a couple tournaments around every weekend and lots of coaches available.
So who do you look up to now playing tennis, or who did you look up to growing up professionally?
I had a couple players, but one of them was mostly Kim Kleisters. She used to be, I don't know why, but me and my dad just used to love watching her practice, like her videos and films when I was a kid. And she's like my inspiration of how to serve. I remember when I was a kid, I would be in front of the computer and my dad would be like, "Look at her technique, look at the time she would take before serving." But yeah, I would also say Serena, obviously, because she's the GOAT.
Morocco.
And yeah, it's just I can't say that I'm looking up to only one player, but I would say that a lot of players, like I'm learning a lot of different things from each one of them.
Okay, that's cool. So kind of jumping back to your when you started playing tennis and just doing a simple Google search, I saw a couple of your accomplishments. You're a pro in Morocco. First of all, yeah, how are you a pro and a collegiate student athlete at the same time? How does that work?
Um, well, I don't know if Google probably mistaken in that, but I stopped being a pro when I came a Rice.
Okay.
So I was a pro in juniors, which is like under 18.
Okay.
And I was actually homeschooled throughout high school,
Mm,
in a French system school. So my schedule would be like 8 to 10 school, 10 to 12 tennis, and then lunch, and then 2 to 4/5 tennis, and then I would be like 2 hours of extra school at night. So it was like
jeez.
just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But like that would also help me just like play more tournaments as I wanted to, because obviously when you're high school or you need like a proper high school, you go to school, the
Right.
whole like normal schedule, you wouldn't have time, you wouldn't have like it wouldn't be even possible to miss that much school just to go play tournament. And yeah, I was at the ITF Center at the time, so the International Tennis Federation. They opened a center in
Yeah.
Morocco, Casablanca, and like it had one of the best African players in there, like practice, eat, go to school in there.
Hmm.
And so they helped me like just pursue my dream even more, and they gave me more opportunity to just like go to play all of these tournaments that I wanted to, and that
Yeah.
just led to help improve my ranking at the end.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you play in a lot of tournaments, playing a couple of like African tournaments and like World's Juniors tournaments, is it? Yeah. And
Yes,
then
that's
at the
right.
age of 17, you won the national
The
championship,
the African
African
championship.
championship.
Yeah.
Yes. How was that?
It's still one of my favorite tournaments that I've ever played, mainly because I won it both
Mhm.
in singles and doubles and in teams. So,
Bravo.
um, and it's also because it was my last year of playing juniors, and we played that tournament in Morocco, in
Wow.
Marrakech. So it was back at
Back
home.
in the homeland.
Exactly. And it was still just one of the great feelings I've ever felt, really,
Yeah.
because you're playing at home in front of the people that you love, for the people that watch you grow up play. You're playing one of your favorite tournaments of the year
Yeah.
and you've won it. So, yeah, what more
That's
can you ask
crazy.
for?
Wow. Like you're at the top of the world. So, but then this brings the question then you are excelling in your professional career. Why not keep going? Like why end that to come and play collegiately?
So tennis is, I would say, is a very expensive sport, because there's a lot of expenses that you need to count on before like fully committing to go professional after high school. So that's one part. On the other part, I would say it's really good to have a backup plan instead, like in case something happens in the future, God
Mhm.
knows what.
Yeah.
Um, so one of the reasons for me to come to college and not go pro after high school is it would like rather be safe than sorry, have the actual diploma from an amazing university, and then you can go pro after college.
Yeah. That's cool. Like yeah, the people always talk about having, yeah, like you said, that backup plan is very important. Um, and so you talk about like the expenses that goes into playing tennis, especially if you start playing from a young age. And so I don't know a lot. I know my mom just played tennis for fun. She tells me that when I'm done with school, I need to start taking lessons. So maybe I can get an early start from you.
Of course.
Yeah, so but I'm curious though, like how do you see are there adverse effects of because tennis is so expensive uh to continue, uh do you see that hindering a lot of kids back in Morocco or even here from playing?
I know some of the players that I used to play with, that I used to compete with in juniors, I know some of them completely just put the racket down because that was one of the reasons why they couldn't like continue in that career. Um, but also if you don't like secure a sponsor that's going to help you in the future, like I would say it's pretty hard because you're going to have to think of paying the hotel, the flight, your coaches, and it's not just one coach, it's like your fitness coach, your tennis coach, the physio that you can get your treatments, you have to pay for tennis balls, tennis rackets,
Wow.
you have to pay for the tournament fee, and it's just a
Jeez.
lot, you know.
Yeah.
So it is definitely one of the reasons, like one of the many reasons why like tennis players can put the racket down.
Mm. And
Yeah.
do you think that there's a way to make tennis more accessible to people that can't necessarily afford it?
Um, what do you mean?
Like do you think that there a way to make tennis a lot, like for people to play tennis, like is it can it be put out there a lot more easily, you know? Is there a way to make it more like less cost efficient for people?
Yeah, I can't think of a reason like of a solution right now, but I do know that like there are more people and players that do help like um all of these kids that are like financially struggling with like paying for stuff for sports.
Hmm.
They do help them like donate some of their rackets, their gear, the tennis balls. I know like there are some places in Africa for sure that they're like building some like public tennis courts
Yeah.
just so the because you would see all of these videos of kids in Africa that they would be playing like in the backyard of a house and or like on dirt, but like not proper like tennis
Yeah.
court, not proper like surface.
Yeah.
And that could obviously hurt the kid at a young age. Um, but yeah, I do know one guy actually, he used to play on the tour
Hmm.
and he did go to a country, I can't remember which one. I think it was Burundi, but I'm not sure.
Hmm.
And he did go and he donated some of his stuff to all of these poor kids. But
Wow.
that's it's funny you're saying this because that's like one of the main things that I do want to achieve after
Hmm.
like I'm done with my career, hopefully,
Hmm.
is to open a center or like something that's going to help all of these poor kids in Africa in the future
Yeah.
and just like help them like I was helped with the ITF and the federation
Yeah.
when I was a kid. So
That's cool, man. Like, I mean, there's something like beautiful about people, athletes, being in this position and thinking, a lot further than this just themselves. So I had
mm-hmm,
George Nyquil on the show, fellow rice as
mm-hmm,
well, and he talked about how when he's done with football or if he makes it to the league and he makes some money, like his goal is to go back to South Sudan and introduce football into that part of the
yeah,
world, and to help people to instill and like create this passion in the youth there, to let them know that if I can do it, basically like you can do it.
mm-hmm.
And it's cool that kind of to see that you have.
Especially since American football is not really that popular back at
Right.
home or back in
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you kind of talked about Serena Williams being, the GOAT, and now she's retired. Just like I wonder if you can talk about like what she meant to the sport of tennis and what she meant to just athletics in general. Like from a young girl looking up to
Mm-hmm.
her.
Yeah, I think Serena just literally changed the whole sport of tennis for young girls
Yeah.
and women in general because growing up, obviously she heard a lot of, oh, you can't do it, you're not gonna do it, you're just a girl or something like that. But obviously she proved everyone wrong and she achieved more than she could have asked for. Or yeah, I mean it's insane the amount of records that she has. Um,
Mhm.
also coming from a background like her dad was the one who coached her, who taught her how to play
Yeah.
tennis,
Ah,
and I can
of
somehow
course.
relate to that.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I just find it like she's just one of the legends. You know, she
Yeah.
is the legend, period.
Yeah. So I watched
So,
their movie, the King Richard movie.
hmm
Phenomenal.
yeah,
Highly recommend.
for
Yes,
sure.
trying to see like what they went through and all of that. But I
Yeah.
guess again, like you talk about like the beauty is like just having this way that you can connect to her and her story, like having like your father teach you, how to play tennis and spark this passion in you, and have her dad, and teach her and her sister how to play tennis and spark this passion, and
hmm
kind of grown into what it became and what the world came to know about her. So that's cool, man. But so I mean,
hmm
I want to like kind of pause right here, right now, and just kind of transition to this part where I just want to do like a mental check-in with you
hmm
for a
Yeah.
second. So I just want to, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions about how is your mental health doing, how's tennis going right now, and how is family, how's family or school going.
Okay.
So, yeah, so
Um, so how's my mental right now on a
yeah.
scale from 1 to 10? I
Yep.
would say solid 6 or 7.
Why so?
It's only because, like I just got done with midterms and, the whole like stress with school, practice, all of these things that needs to be done. And sometimes it just leaves like kind of no room to breathe. But
Mm,
I would say that I've seen like worse days, obviously, COVID,
yeah,
like that was a pretty hard time for me, I would say. Um, but looking back at it, I think I've done a pretty good job, like bouncing back from it and taking it easy, like just taking it day by day, really.
yeah,
So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Second
yeah.
question was how's
How's
tennis?
tennis going? Yeah.
I would say a good 8.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, 7, 8. Yeah, I would say an 8. Me and me and Maria were playing All American on Wednesday. We're
Yeah.
flying Monday to North Carolina. So I'm very excited for that. We also started this fall season the ranking of 16 in the nation.
Yo, wow.
So yeah, that's pretty
Wow.
exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very much excited to just honestly just give better and give everything that I have on the court with me and
Mm,
Maria, whether it's singles or doubles. And just to go there and have fun,
yeah.
and the results will have to come eventually.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. And then how's family?
family's doing good. Just had a long conversation with my mom this morning, like a 2 hour long conversation.
Jeez.
But no, they're good. I just saw them over the summer. Obviously, I don't get to see them that much
Often, yeah.
throughout the year
Hmm.
because I'm here and they're back in Morocco. But I just saw them over the summer and they were doing pretty great. So my little cousins, they're 3 and 1.
Wow.
They like to play around, they like to go to the beach. But yeah, it was just really nice to spend some quality time with my grandparents, with my cousins, my
Mm,
aunts, my mom and my dad. Yeah, no, they're good.
that's good. That's awesome, man. I'm glad that,
Yeah,
things, I mean, especially at a school like Rice, playing tennis at a high level, like you're playing, things kind of get hectic, and it's important to sometimes just take this moment to step back and, reflect on like mental health, chance to cherish your time with family and all that stuff.
for
Um,
sure.
so, I mean, I want to talk about your transition now to Rice. First of all, like
hmm
why Rice? How did you end up at Rice?
Why rice? So it's a funny story. I was actually talking to Syracuse
Hmm.
because the head coach is Moroccan. Um, and by the time we were talking, and by the time I said yes, it was kind of late. And
Uh,
so he was like, "Oh, I was a assistant coach at Rice. I can give you her contact." And I was like, "Oh, Rice. I never heard of that school before because in
yeah,
Morocco, like going to college is not really a big thing in the US,
right.
like back in Morocco."
Yeah,
So I did some research. I was like, "Oh my God, Rice is actually really good.
yeah.
Like it has both the academics and the sports, like the
Hmm.
tennis program is amazing." And so yeah, that's when I started talking with Coach Elizabeth, and we really just hit it off. And she made me feel like my transition between like from going to junior, like professional junior player to
Mhm.
college player. She made it sound like the transition was going to be good and smooth, and she said that she was going to help me, and that just like reassured me more. And yeah, I literally just fell in love with Rice, and I was like, oh well, yeah, I guess I'm going to Rice now.
That's funny.
And yeah, my coach and my parents, they heard that I'm talking to Rice, and they were like, oh wow, that's like a really good school.
Yeah.
That's almost Ivy League.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I know.
Nah, so I mean, you're talking about, having this plan B, and Rice is not a bad plan B at all.
Oh, I
You
would say
know,
it's a plan A.
plan A, yeah. And what are you studying?
I'm a sport management major.
Sports management major. And like, what do you plan on
Hmm.
doing with that when you leave from there?
Um, right now I am interning with Rice Athletics in the marketing department,
Mhm.
and it is something that is really interesting to me, and I would say that I would want to pursue something in that field.
So I see you on the sideline during our football
Yeah,
games. Like
yes, you
what are
do.
you doing there? Like what do you do there?
So I am helping David and Tyler Thomas, David Pillen,
Mhm.
just make sure everything is on point, and if we need to put people on the field that get recognized, just to make sure that it's on time, like no late, not lower, not early. And if there is like a problem with the scoreboard or like anything like that, just make sure to notice them, and then they would try and go and fix it.
Mhm.
But yeah,
All right,
it's a good experience.
I want to say something. There was a problem with the scoreboard during the game.
Yes,
We went in at
yes.
halftime and it was 17-7. And then we
Yeah,
come back out and it's 23-7.
23.
So everybody's like,
Yeah,
what
we
is going
all
on?
yeah, we all noticed that. And then everyone in the headset are like, okay, we need to fix this scoreboard right now because that is not right.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. We ended up winning the game, so it
Hmm.
didn't matter. But I
Yeah.
know I want to I want to talk about just like your transition, here. Like, what was some difficulties that you faced coming from Morocco, coming to Houston, coming to such a great school like Rice after being homeschooled, for so long?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I came in spring 2019, not fall
Hmm.
2018. So I didn't get to do orientation week.
Hmm.
And so I would say like it literally just felt like you took me from a place and you put me to another one and just left me there. You're like, all right, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Um, I would it, I wouldn't say it was like a very hard transition, but I wouldn't say it was an easy one either. But I think I am so grateful to my team at the time because they helped me transition so easy, and my coach as well. I didn't know anyone
Right.
apart from my teammates
Right.
when I first came in, but they really helped me like settle down and help me like figure out where my classes are. I remember like the day before first day of school started, and it was me and my mom walking around campus, and I was looking at my class schedule, and I was like, I have no idea where all of these classes are.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be so late to class tomorrow. And one of my teammates just happened to hear me, and she was like, oh, let me help you
Mhm.
figure them out because
Yeah.
we don't want you to be late tomorrow. So yeah, I would say that props to them for helping me
Yeah.
because if it wasn't for them, I would probably be lost longer than I would have been.
Yeah, so I mean, with that, just a little bit off topic, but like, how would you describe the dynamics and relationship within the team?
I would say it's like it's a second family to me, literally. We all know each other so well. We all try to make each other feel better. We're all there for each other whenever someone is down. And it's not only off the court. It's also you can see it on the court as well. Like if someone is not playing well or if someone is messing like a certain um drill or something like that, we would be on them. We would try to like encourage them or, just hype them up even more just so they can like come back, like instead of zoning out, just come back on the court, like just be present.
Yeah.
Um and it's one of the things that I really love about this team and this Rice women's tennis program. It feels like I'm in a fact that everyone cares about each other. Even the coaches, obviously, they care about us, and they just want what's best for us. And I'm so grateful for this because I have some friends in other schools that are like, yeah, my teammates are not that great off court.
Yeah.
I hope it's not the same for you. And I'm like, it really isn't. I'm sorry about that, but I really love my teammates more than anything here.
Yeah, wow.
So
That's cool.
yeah.
And then, I mean, and you can see it showing on the court because now you and your partner in doubles are playing in the All-American
Yeah,
tournament.
exactly. Maria and I have been playing doubles since her freshman year, I think. I came in a semester earlier than her. Yeah, so our coaches were just like trying to figure out who's going to play doubles with who, and we're just practicing doubles. And one day they put us together, and obviously it wasn't the best doubles,
Right.
but they saw that like our games just complement within each other. And so we've just been playing together since then, and now we're roommates. We've been roommates for the
Wow.
past year.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's more than just tennis. It's about like your relationship that you have with your teammates. It's just about being there for each other, really.
Lifelong bond, lifelong friendship. That's cool.
Exactly.
And so you said the All-American tournament is in North Carolina?
North
What part
Carolina.
of North
Yeah.
Carolina?
Honestly, I am not
You don't
sure. I
know.
keep on
So I'm
forgetting
from
the
North
city.
Carolina, and I'm gonna be
Oh.
home. I'm gonna be home. I'm not from there. I live there now, but I'm gonna be
Okay.
home. Actually next week. Actually
Oh,
be home on Wednesday. So if it was gonna be
okay.
anywhere near Charlotte, whatever, I would love to come and cheer you guys
I
on
know,
and watch.
I know it's not in a school, it's in this big park, but
Okay.
I keep on forgetting the name. I ask my coaches every single time and the name I just cannot remember the name. So
We'll figure it out. If you figure it out, just let me know. And if it's
I
close by,
will.
I wouldn't mind coming by to cheer my rice hours on.
Sounds good. I will.
so so now you say your parents are in Morocco. You're here. You are achieving your goals and you're living out your dreams. So, but I'm sure that they don't come. They don't watch you play a lot. Because travel is bad. Are they going to come to this game? To this tournament?
No, they will
No,
not. Um, None of my parents came or watched any of my
they've
games
never.
since I've been at college.
Wow.
It was only when my mom came to visit me during spring break last semester, and she watched one of our games because we played at Rice at home. And she've never seen one before. She'd never seen how the dynamic was or like
Yeah.
how we cheer each other on and everything. And she was just like, oh my God, like the college tennis is just a whole different world than the
Different.
tennis that I knew before. I
Wow.
was like, yeah, it sure is.
So how does that
Um,
affect you though? Knowing that, your parents are not in the stands or not in the bleachers cheering you on and watching you play.
Honestly, it doesn't really affect me that much because I'm in tennis, like growing up, I've been traveling to all of these tournaments by myself. Like every tournament that I played outside of Morocco, whether it's in Europe, Africa, America, or anywhere, um, I've just always went there by myself with my coach, and my other teammates. And yeah, I've just been used to my parents not watching me play tennis that much.
Wow. So like do you like I can imagine the first time that both of your parents are in the States or at Rice, wherever you are, watching you play. I can just kind of envision that moment, for you. It's gonna be a special moment. Um so
No, for sure. I am hoping that they would come watch our last home game or any last game that we have next semester, before my graduation, hopefully. So yeah, I'm still kind of working on convincing both of them to come here for a game like earlier.
So you guys play in the fall and spring?
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
The fall tournaments are mainly for our individual ranking, so
Mhm.
it doesn't really count on the Rice team ranking as a whole, but it's
Yeah.
more for like Dia's ranking, Maria's ranking, and
Okay. Yeah.
but the main like season is next
Spring.
January. Yeah,
Okay.
spring.
So you talked about, your individual stuff like that. And since you've been here, before we get to the All-American tournament stuff, like seeing that you was a second team all CUSA, you was named athlete of the week,
Mm-hmm.
you were the honor roll, is it commissioner honor roll,
Yes.
for Conference
Yeah.
USA. So you've been accomplishing a lot of good things here.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
ultimately that kind of led up to the, playing this big All-American tournament. So I don't know what the All-American tournament consists of with tennis, but I know that in college athletics, once you hear All-American, that means that you've done
Hmm.
something like remarkable, like you
Yeah,
stand
no,
apart
for
from everybody
sure.
else. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I would say All American is a tournament that like the best pairs of the doubles of like the nation like get to go and play. Obviously with the new rankings, with our new ranking that like really helped us getting to that tournament. And it was really exciting when our coach was like, well, Dia and Maria, you made it to All American doubles. I was like, oh, that's exciting.
Now, how was that? How was that news though? Like, how was that delivered? Did you just find out from your coach, or did you know that you guys were going at some point?
Well, our the new ranking came out by the beginning of the fall,
Mhm.
and we were praying so hard, me and Maria, to like, oh my God, hopefully we need to make it to All
Yeah.
American. Hopefully we do. And so our coaches, she got us in, I think the week before we knew that we made it to All American.
Mhm.
And so we were just waiting. It was a Monday, you would know, Tuesday, you would know if you
Yeah.
made it or not. We were just patiently waiting. And then we
Wow.
got a text at home, chilling on the couch. And we got a text from her. She was like, well, y'all made it. I was like, let's go.
Wow. That's funny. That's crazy. I think that
Hmm.
emotion is like running super
Hmm.
high. So for like the Rice fans that's listening to this, I want you, Dia, to let them know what is Rice's next game or match or tournament at home that they can come and watch you guys play.
So this fall, our Rice invite is, if I'm not wrong, if I remember right, it's by the end of October, I would
Okay.
say, end of month of October.
Mhm.
And it's a Rice invite. It's a 3-day tournament. We don't really know yet how many schools are going to be there,
Right.
but it's mainly doubles and 2 singles a day. Um, and yeah, y'all should come out and watch us.
Come watch it. So now tennis matches are like can be very long, right?
Yes, they
What's the
can.
what's the longest match that you've played in?
Um, the I've played very long matches in the past, but one of them that I can think of right now is the final of African Championships,
Mm,
obviously, and that was like a 3 hour and a half long match.
wow. What?
Yeah, yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Hmm. It was a long one. I would say extremely tired by the end of it.
And you won it.
Hmm.
That is crazy. 3 hours just back and forth, running and
Yeah.
cutting and wow.
That's I think I would say that's the beautiful part of tennis as a sport is that you don't know how long your match is going to be. It could
Mm,
be from 45 minutes to 4 or 5 hours. Um,
wow.
if you play 5 sets like in the
What?
Grand Slams. But I feel like you obviously lose track of time of how long you're playing,
Yeah.
and you're just like in the zone, in the moment, just focusing on the technique and the tactics that you're using to
Mhm.
win that certain opponent. And I think that's a beautiful part of it.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna call you champ from now on. I'm just gonna call you dear no more. I'm just gonna call you champ. Nah, but congrats on all of your achievements.
Thank you so much.
Before we even like end the show, just a couple of things. If sure there are a lot of kids looking up to you here back in Morocco, now around the country. Like what is one advice that you would tell, a young kid that's looking to do what you're doing?
I would say not don't listen to the people that says, "Oh, it's just a sport. Focus on your studies."
Mhm.
Don't listen to those people. I would say if you really want to play this certain sport, whatever it is, tennis, football, whatever it is, give your 100% every single day at practice, enjoy what you're doing, and obviously the results are going to come with it. Because if you're not enjoying it, then you're going to start hating the sport, and that's just going to bring it down, and the results are not going to show up.
You're not gonna be a champ like yourself. But so congrats again on everything. I'll be cheering for you guys during the All-American tournament.
Thank you.
And before you leave, when you leave, I want you to do one thing before the day is over. I want you to call somebody and check up on them. Call a friend, call a family member, check up on them, tell them that you love them.
For sure, I will do that.
Thank you again so much. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Of course, and good luck moving forward.
Thank you for watching Believe. You can find more great content at Believe.com. That's BLEAV.com. Do you believe?